Hello and good afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Fort Lee Athletics stream on YouTube. You are just about to watch the Fort Lee Bridgeman host Paterson Kennedy. John F. Kennedy High School split up into Paterson East Side and Paterson Kennedy. This will be the Paterson Kennedy Knights on the road here in Fort Lee, taking on the Bridgeman. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Tommy Aquilina. We are underway, and the player on the mound for the Bridgeman is number 2, Jake Lee. So Jake Lee gets the start, and his 1-0 pitch is a ball. Might be a little difficult to see what the umpire calls today. The umpire behind the plate appears to be very short, maybe even shorter than the guy who is batting right now. That's a called strike, so it is a 2-1 count. Jake Lee pitching to number 13, Yordani Mercado. And Jake Lee dealing the 2-1 to Mercado. That, I believe, was called a little outside. So Mercado in the driver's seat early. It is a 3-1 count. Lee's 3-1 pitch is poured in there for a strike. And here in our first plate appearance of the afternoon, we have a full count. Mercado has yet to take the bat off of his shoulders. And Lee will deal the payoff pitch, and that is going to be a single sent into center field by Yordani Mercado. So a single for the Knights' leadoff man, and that will bring up number 21, Jonathan Pacheco. Mercado and Pacheco, both seniors, and then the 3-hitter is the sophomore, Charles Awis Mata. That pitch is fouled away, so an 0-1 count. Jake Lee pitching to Jonathan Pacheco here as the Fort Lee Bridgeman host the Paterson Kennedy Knights on a dreary Wednesday afternoon. Lee's 0-1 pitch is grounded in the hole for a base hit. Going first to third will be Mercado, and advancing to second on the throw. No, not advancing to second on the throw. It looks like Pacheco was gunned down by the Bridgeman third baseman. That's Jack Dorcom getting the out at second base. So it's going to be a single, and then that should be scored 9-5-4 to get Pacheco out. So a runner on third, one away, and Awis Mata is the batter. Sophomore number 5 hitting from the left side. Big swing and a miss. Count goes to 1-1. So a helter-skelter play here to start the game. Not often that you see a 9-5-4 putout recorded. So a couple singles to lead off the game. And then Fort Lee threw the ball around a little bit. So we have a runner on third and one away. And Awis Mata sends that one foul the other way. So it should be a 2-2 count. It was a single hit to right field, and then that was Jacob Greenberg throwing to third base and not getting the out. But Dorcom went to second for the out, and this one is line foul. So it was Jacob Greenberg to Jack Dorcom at third, and then finishing it off at second base was Stefan Kim, and he will get the putout on that play. 2-2 pitch is high, so we have our second full count here in the first 3 batters. tapped foul down the first baseline. It's Dorcom at third base, Jacob's brother Max Greenberg at shortstop, and then Kim at second and Nico Sango at first base. Mentioned Jacob Greenberg in right, and then we have CJ Senator in center field, and Marcus Lee is in left field. That pitch is high. Put a backwards K in the books for Jake Lee. He strikes out Awis Mata looking. There are 2 away, and now the batter is Christopher Doble, a senior, and the opposing pitcher. And Doble takes a pitch that bounces up there. The runner will remain at third base. So a runner on third and 2 outs. Jake Lee pitching to his counterpart on the mound, Christopher Doble. A lot of seniors on this Paterson Kennedy team. These guys have played with each other for a while, and they have not done a lot of winning the past couple seasons. Talk more about that in a minute, as that pitch is low, and the count goes to 3-0 on the night's cleanup hitter. Wyson Reynoso is on deck. Called strike 1, count goes to 3-1. Lee deals low, and so that'll be ball 4. So we will have runners on the corners with 2 away. Doble, again, is the opposing pitcher, so he is going to get pinch run for here. Not a huge bench for the Knights. They gave me their lineup card before the start of the game, and they have 5 players on their bench, and that's including their right fielder, who is getting DH'd for. This is Wyson Reynoso, a sophomore, and the third baseman for the Knights today. So just to wrap up for Fort Lee in the outfield, it's Marcus Lee in left. He's getting DH'd for. And then CJ Senator in center and Jacob Greenberg in right field. That pitch is low. Don't think I mentioned Jake Lee is throwing to CJ's older brother, Luke Senator. He is behind the plate. And right now at the plate is Wyson Reynoso, the sophomore, number 20. Poked into right field. That's going to be a base hit. And it is going to give the Knights an early 1-0 lead. RBI single for Reynoso. And there are now runners on first and second with 2 down, and Paterson Kennedy leads this one 1-0. That'll bring up the number 6 hitter and the first baseman today for the Knights, Jaonel Rivera, number 25. He swings and misses at the first offering from Jake Lee. So a single, another single, but a runner thrown out at second base, a strikeout, and then a 2-out walk and an RBI single by Reynoso, and the Knights have an early 1-0 lead. That pitch, did it plunk Rivera? It did. So now we have a hit by pitch, and the bases are loaded, and the Knights are threatening early on in this one. The batter is going to be number 2, Brian Santos. And in the next half inning, he will play second base for the Knights. Mentioned the Knights have not done a ton of winning. They went 1-19 last season. This year, they've been a little bit better. They are 2-19. They did go winless in division. They went 0-10 in the Big North Liberty and came in last place out of 6 teams. That pitch to Santos is low. So it's a 1-0 count with the bases loaded and 2 away. Jake Lee's pitch count is starting to climb up there a little bit. He deals the 1-0, and it is a called strike. The Knights also tend to play quite a few blowouts. Their run differential this year is minus 157. And again, that's only in 21 games. The throw back to the pitcher got away from Lee, but no harm, no foul. Stefan Kim was there to back things up at second base. Compare that to a Fort Lee team that's been 500 this year. Oh, we will in a minute. This one is grounded to second base, and Stefan Kim will retire the batter and end the inning. But the Paterson Kennedy Knights take a 1-0 lead here in the top half of the first inning. We will return ever so briefly here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube stream. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex here in Fort Lee, New Jersey. The Bridgemen trail the Knights of Paterson Kennedy 1-0 after 1/2 inning of play, and the Bridgemen are going to try to get that run back. It'll be Stefan Kim leading things off, followed by Nico Sango, and then the catcher Luke Senator. They will be facing Christopher Doblé, number 26. Doblé, also the cleanup hitter today for the Knights. He walked in the top half of the first inning, and the Knights took a 1-0 lead. Mentioned that Fort Lee has been 500 this season. Pete Kraljick's team is 11-11. 5-4 at home on the season, and I mentioned they've been a 500 team and they've played like it. Their run differential is +3 on the season. So compare that to the Knights, who have been outscored by 156 runs this year, and that's after their run in the top of the first. The stats on NJ.com for the Knights are a little out of date, but here are some stats for you. They are 1-7 on the road this year. They went winless in division, 0-10, came in last place of the 6 teams in the Big North Liberty, so that means out of division, their record is 2-9. They lost their first 18 games of the season before winning back-to-back games on May 8th and May 10th, and then on Monday they lost at home against Hackensack 7-4. This is their last game on the schedule, so they are hoping to end the season on a high note. That would be winning 3 out of 4 to end the year for them if they're able to hold on to this 1-0 lead that they have. Mentioned that it'll be the second baseman, Stefan Kim, leading things off for Fort Lee. He has had himself a solid freshman season. Doblé's first pitch zips in there, but is high, so a 1-0 count on the freshman second baseman. And Doblé's 1-0 is in the dirt. Doblé pitching to Jonathan Pacheco behind the plate. And right now, Kim is the batter. It'll be a 2-0 count. And the freshman takes ball 3. Trying to avoid the 4-pitch walk, and he does. It is a 3-1 count on Stefan Kim. He picked up the assist on the last play of the top of the first inning. In the driver's seat here with a 3-1 count, and Doblé deals low. That'll be ball 4. No, it will not be. Looks like Kim thought the pitch was low, called strike by the home plate umpire, and so we have a full count. Kim yet to swing the bat. Long pause for Doble. We are all waiting on him. He's the pitcher, his game, and that wasn't really worth the wait. So Kim does, in fact, work a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the first inning. Looking at the Knights' defense at first base is Jayanel Rivera, and then the guy who grounded out to end the top of the first inning, Brian Santos, is at second base. Alice Mata is at shortstop, and Wyson Reynoso, who picked up the RBI single, is at third base. That is a called strike to the first baseman for the Bridgeman, Nico Sango. So it's an 0-1 count on the right-handed batter. Kim leads off of first base. Doble sets and then steps off. Looking at the Knights' outfield, it's Melvin Garcia in center field, or in left field, I should say. Mercado is in center field. And then I mentioned their right fielder is getting DH'd for. That's Jan Nunez in right field, getting hit for by Jorge Bertier. It's a 1-1 count on number 15, Nico Sango. That pitch is low. Kim is going, and Kim has second base stolen. The Bridgemen, not a big power-hitting team, but they do have some speedsters, and they like to steal bases when they can. Stefan Kim just picked one up there, and now he is in scoring position for Sango. The pitch was a ball, by the way, so it's a 2-1 count, and Sango lifts that one into shallow left center field. The catch is going to be made by Mercado. Kim will not go anywhere, and there is one away with a runner on second base. If you're keeping score at home, that's F8, and that will bring up the Bridgeman catcher, Luke Senator. 2 Senator brothers and 2 Greenberg brothers in this starting lineup for Fort Lee, and the elder Senator fouls that first pitch off. Luke Senator, a sophomore, his brother CJ, a freshman. Luke lofts this one into shallow right field, and it's going to be the second baseman, Santos, losing his hat, but making the play. 2 gone. And that will bring up number 11, Jacob Greenberg. Greenberg, the younger of the brothers, a sophomore. Max Greenberg is a junior and is also on deck. 2 out, runner on second. Jacob Greenberg takes a strike. 0-1 count on one of Fort Lee's pitchers / outfielders, playing right field today, and he's already picked up an outfield assist. Doble's 0-1 is fouled off, and Jacob Greenberg is in an 0-2 hole. Mentioned Paterson Kennedy just 2-19 on the year. Fort Lee 11-11, and they went 5-3 in the Big North American Division this year. That's a ball. Kim is going, and Kim is going to be out by a pretty good amount right there. Trying to steal third with 2 outs. You better make sure you make it. Kim did not. So he goes 1 out of 2 in stolen base attempts in the first inning. And the Bridgemen do not score. They trail 1-0 after 1. It'll be Jacob Greenberg leading off in the bottom of the second inning. For now, we will head to the top of the second inning. A 1-0 lead for the Paterson Kennedy Knights. And that gives us a chance to thank our proud sponsors. I want to thank the law offices of Deborah L. Pico, LLC, the finest construction home improvement specialists, the law office of Mark J. Sokolich, the Fort Lee Soccer Club, and Sedona Tap House. Thank you to our proud sponsors. Thank you so much for tuning in midday on a weekday, a dreary Wednesday afternoon. Weren't even sure if we were going to get this game in. As a matter of fact, it was supposed to be Senior Day for Fort Lee. They did end up canceling the Senior Day festivities because of the weather. It's been kind of rainy on and off today. Right now, a lot of clouds. The sun ever so briefly broke through. Now it has hidden back behind some light gray clouds. No rain, though. And so we are hopeful that we can get this one in between the Knights and the Bridgeman. One inning in the books, and it is a 1-0 lead for the Paterson-Kennedy Knights. It'll be 8, 9, and 1 for the Knights. Melvin Garcia, Jorge Bertier, and then back to the top of the order with Yordani Mercado. Jake Lee out there for a second inning of work. Garcia, number 18, the left fielder today, and he bats from the left side. Jake Lee deals a strike. Jake Lee, the junior, number 2, and he deals low. Good take right there from Garcia, and it's a 1-1 count. There's a strike, and we have a 1-2 count. These teams are kind of having the exact opposite seasons. Fort Lee, been all right this year. They're 500, but not playing well of late. That pitch is fouled off. Garcia just got a piece of that one. Tied him up inside, but he fouled off a good pitch, and he stays in there with a 1-2 count. Outside, and the count will level off at 2-2. Fort Lee went 9-7 in April, but they have not had as much luck in May, and they've actually lost 4 out of their last 5. As that pitch is fouled away by Garcia. On Monday, Paterson-Kennedy lost. Fort Lee lost as well, 10-0 at Bergenfield. And so, like I said, the Bridgemen have lost 4 of 5. Meanwhile, the Knights have won 2 of 3. But those are also their only 2 wins this season. Just missed a little low. So the count goes full. We've had a lot of those here in the early going. Lofted into left field. Marcus Lee does a little skip hop as he makes the play. 1 down. Fort Lee hoping to go over 500 again this season. Their loss on Monday dropped them to 11-11. Taking on Paterson-Kennedy today, and they will be at Riverdale tomorrow. It's actually going to be a home game against Riverdale tomorrow. The great thing about high school sports, you can change the schedule around, do all sorts of funky things. So it's going to be Riverdale at Fort Lee tomorrow. Possible, though not definite, that the Senior Day festivities will get pushed to tomorrow. Mentioned they were called off today due to the possibility of rain. That's a called strike, and so we have a 2-1 count on the Knights' number 9 hitter. It is Jorge Bertier, the senior, who is batting for Jan Nunez. Popped up in the air. Kind of a soft line drive, and Stefan Kim makes the play. Score that F4 And that will bring up the Knights' leadoff hitter, Yordani Mercado, 1-for-1. 2 on, or 2 out, no one on, and Jake Lee deals a little upstairs to Mercado. The center fielder already has a putout today, and after leading the game off with a single, he came around to score. The Knights playing with a lead, something they haven't done too much this season, as Mercado swings and misses. 1-1 count on the senior. Lee's pitch doesn't quite reach home plate, so it'll be a 2-1 count. Last game of the year for the Knights. Mentioned the Bridgemen have a couple games left after this one. So they should not be able to finish 500. They should be at least one game over or under this year. That one is chopped to short. And the play is made. Good call there by the first base umpire, in my opinion. That was Max Greenberg going to Nico Sango for the 6-3 ground out. We'll go to the bottom of the second inning. It is 1-0 Paterson Kennedy. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex in Fort Lee, New Jersey. Fort Lee Bridgeman baseball team trailing the Paterson Kennedy Knights by a score of 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. It's going to be Greenberg, and Dorcom for the Bridgemen. First, we'll see the cleanup hitter, sophomore Jacob Greenberg. Playing right field today. And then batting second this inning will be the junior, number 6, Max Greenberg. And he just picked up the assist at shortstop to end the top of the second inning. Mentioned that Paterson Kennedy is a last place team this year. Fort Lee came in second place in the Big North American Division at 5-3. Ridgefield Park went 7-1. Fort Lee finishes the season 2 games behind them and 2 games ahead of both Cliffside Park and Dumont. They both went 3-5 in division. And Dwight Morrow came in last at 2-6. Christopher Doble out there for a second inning of work and dealing a strike to the sophomore, Jacob Greenberg. The 0-1 pitch is grounded to second base. Santos waits for his first baseman to get in position and makes the play. It's a 4-3 putout. And so that will bring up the elder Greenberg brother. And Max takes a pitch in the dirt. 1-0. That pitch got away from Pacheco Thought maybe it might have hit Greenberg. It did not. Just a ball inside, and a 2-0 count from Doble to Greenberg. Doble, a tall right-hander, wearing number 26, and obviously, since this is the last game of the year, this will be his last start for the Knights, as he is a senior. So, he wants to leave things all out there on the field. It's a 2-1 count on Max Greenberg. Doble taking his time, soaking everything in, and dealing a strike as that pitch is fouled away. The count levels off at 2-2 with 1 out and nobody on here in the bottom of the second inning. That's a little high, and so we have another full count. Fort Lee wearing their white home jerseys with black and orange accenting. The Knights wearing their red road uniforms. Foul ball, and we'll do it again with a 3-2 count. Lined and not handled by Santos at second base. Max Greenberg will reach. Probably got to score that one in E4. Either way, there is a runner on first base with 1 away for the Bridgeman, and that will bring up the third baseman and the number 6 hitter, Jack Dorcom, number 17. Doble really takes his time on the mound with runners on or with the bases empty. It's worth it as long as you get the good results. Small lead at first base for Max Greenberg, and that is a called strike, or a called ball, I should say, inside to Dorcom. Sophomore Jack Dorcom wears number 17, and that is a foul ball, well out of play, down the left field line. A ground ball to Santos led off this inning, and then a soft line drive could not be handled by the Knights' second baseman, so we have 1 on and 1 out, and after that called strike, we have a 2-2 count on Dorcom. The senior Doble deals, swing and a miss. Held on to by Pacheco behind the plate. Dorcom is retired, and there are 2 away for Ray Nakajima. Number 23, the DH today, he would have been one of the players being celebrated today had the senior day festivities gone through. Again, they were canceled due to the less than stellar weather that we're having, but Nakajima still in the lineup today as the DH and taking, looks like a little outside. Nakajima DHing for the left fielder, Marcus Lee. We've seen Lee bounce around defensively this year for the Bridgeman. Today, getting hit for by Nakajima, who takes a big hack and misses. 1-1 count. One-two count. That was very weird. Max Greenberg almost walked to second base. Pacheco did throw down there, wasn't able to get him. So that's a stolen base for Max Greenberg. Pacheco now 1 out of 3 trying to catch attempted base stealers. And the tying run for the Bridgeman is in scoring position. It's a 1-2 count on Nakajima. Cold strike 3. Little bit of a hesitation there in Doblay's windup, and he gets Nakajima looking. So with a runner on first and then second, Dobley bears down, strikes out 2 Bridgeman, and through 2 innings of play, it is the Knights of Paterson Kennedy 1 and the Bridgeman of Fort Lee 0. Don't go anywhere. Back here in Fort Lee, New Jersey, Tommy Aquilina here with you on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube stream as the Bridgeman baseball team hosts the Paterson Kennedy Knights. Knights leading this one 1-0 after 2 innings. Jake Lee back out there for the third, and he deals a strike to the catcher, Jonathan Pacheco. In the first inning, Pacheco singled. The runner on first went to third, and then on the throw over to third, Pacheco tried to go to second, but he was cut down on a 9-5-4 play. And now he picks up another base hit. This one into left field. So Pacheco is 2 for 2, and he's thrown out an attempted base stealer today. Solid afternoon so far for the senior catcher. And again, as a senior, he should be playing in his final high school baseball game today. That'll bring up the shortstop, Charles Awis Mata, only a sophomore, hitting third in this lineup and fouling off the first pitch. Awis Mata struck out in the first inning, and that is Jake Lee's only K so far today. Lee pours a strike in there. So it's an 0-2 count. Doesn't look like Pacheco is getting pinch run for. If he stays on base and we get to a couple outs, that might change. For now, it is Pacheco at first base, and that pitch in the dirt makes it a 2-1 count. Lee deals low. Pacheco is going, and Pacheco is out. Luke Senator gunning down his counterpart behind the plate. Score that 2-6 on the caught stealing. So 1 away and a 2-2 count on Awis Mata. And he stays alive after that foul ball. So Pacheco, 1 out of 3, trying to throw out attempted base stealers. Luke Senator now 1 for 1. We have another foul ball. Some raindrops starting to fall here in Fort Lee. Nothing that the boys can't play through. For now, at least. Got a couple more innings to get through before this game can count. And Awis Mata is out of there. Called strike 3. Or I lied. It looks like that pitch was upstairs for a ball. Yes, Awasmata will go to first base after the one-out walk. So a no-contact day so far for the sophomore. A strikeout and a walk, and he is on first base with one away, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Doble. He walked his first time up. Throw over. The Knights on the bench yell to their shortstop to get back, which he does. Because of the caught stealing, instead of having 2 on and nobody out, we have a runner on first and 1 out. Trying to do a quick steal here. Luke Senator's throw is not in time. Stolen base for Awasmata. So the Knights get their runner on second base anyway. There is 1 away, and their cleanup hitter is at the plate. That's the senior Doble. And Doble takes a pitch as the rain starts to pick up a little bit. Fly ball into right field, and that's going to be off the fence. Coming home and scoring is Awasmata. I don't think Doble was sure if that ball was going to go fair or foul, or even potentially over the fence, so it's a very long single for the Knights pitcher. He will get pinch run for after picking up an RBI single. Awasmata scores, and the Knights' lead is now 2-0. That'll bring up Wyson Reynoso, who had the first RBI single of the game back in the first inning. He fouls this one away. I believe the pinch runner for Doble is number 22, Pedro Santana, another senior playing in his last high school game. Runner on first, 1 away, and that pitch is way upstairs. Popped up. Kim is going to have to battle the raindrops, and he'll make the play anyway. Nicely done. I believe also an infield fly rule was called on that one. Either way, it is a pop out to second base for Reynoso, and with 2 away and a runner on first, the batter will be Jayanel Rivera. Lee plunked him his first time up. That was back in the first inning. Lee drops a breaking pitch in there for strike 1. 0-1 the count. Rivera sends this one into left field. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. Santana advances to second. It's a 2-out single, and we have runners on first and second. That'll bring up Brian Santos. He grounded out to end the top of the first inning. Now he gets a chance here with 2 on and 2 out, and the Knights already leading 2-0. Raindrops continuing to fall here in Fort Lee, and Lee's pitch is low. Grounded foul, and it'll be a 1-1 count on the second baseman, Brian Santos. Lee with a quick check on the runner at second base. Tried to drop in an off-speed pitch. It was a little upstairs. So a 2-1 count. Count levels off at 2-2. Lee is a strike away from getting out of this jam. There have been guys on base pretty much all afternoon for the Knights, but Lee so far has handled the bottom third of their order. That's a nice block by Luke Senator to keep the runners at first and second. It's a full count, so with a 3-2 pitch and 2 outs, the runners will get a little bit of a head start here. And Lee deals low. Ball 4. So the bottom 3 hitters in the Knights lineup are now 0 for 3 with a walk, and Melvin Garcia will have a chance to make up for his fly out to left field his first time up. Left-handed batter hitting with the bases loaded and 2 away, and he sends this one to shallow center field. Coming in and making the play is C.J. Senator, and so Lee works into and out of a jam, but he also gives up a run, and the Knights have doubled their lead. It is 2-0 after 2.5 innings of play. Two and a half innings in the books. Paterson Kennedy leading Fort Lee 2-0. Christopher Doble out there for a third inning of work. Knights playing with a lead. Mentioned they haven't done that a ton this year, just 2-19 on the season, coming off a loss, and this is their last game of the year. Coming into this one, the Knights gave up 237 runs in 21 games. That's about 11.3 runs per game. And remember, a lot of their games did not go the full 7 innings. They've been mercied multiple times. Fort Lee held off the board through 2 innings. Obviously, there's plenty of game left, but against a team that gives up double-digit runs per game, you would hope that your offense would be able to get something going, especially at this time of the year for Pete Kraljic's team. So they're going to look to come back from what is currently a 2-0 deficit. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Bridgeman, starting with the guy who made that play in center field to end the top of the third inning, C.J. Senator. One of 2 freshmen in the starting lineup for Peter Kraljic, along with Stefan Kim. He's the leadoff batter. Senator hitting 8th and playing the position deemed number 8 on the field, center field. And then it'll be the pitcher, Jake Lee, trying to help himself out. He is on deck. That pitch is inside, and we have a 2-0 count on C.J. Senator. Doble deals inside, a little too far inside. He plunks the younger Senator brother, and the leadoff man is aboard for the Bridgeman for the second time in 3 innings. Kim led off the game with a walk, and he was actually the final out of the first inning when he was caught stealing third base. So that'll bring up Jake Lee. 3 innings pitched so far today. He has allowed 2 runs And now Lee is going to try to help himself out. Senator has speed. Lee is going to try to bunt him over, and they're going to throw to second base. I don't know why Doble did that. The Bridgemen were giving the Knights an out, and they decided they didn't want it. You can see the frustration on Pacheco with his arms out there. Literally the only play was to go to first base there. I don't know why Doble threw to second. So score that a fielder's choice and an E1 as the throw went into center field. So we have 2 aboard and no one out for the leadoff hitter, Stefan Kim, who walked his first time up. Now he's going to try to bunt. That's a really good bunt. It does go foul. Ball straddled the first baseline. A good job by Rivera at first base, waiting for it to go foul and then immediately scooping it up. With an 0-1 count, I wonder if Kim is going to try to bunt again. He's been one of Fort Lee's better hitters this year. He does square around, and he fouls this one off as well, so that will probably take away the bunt. Obviously, if you bunt a ball foul with 2 strikes, it is a strikeout, so Kim will probably be swinging away here. A hit by pitch, and then an E1 on a fielder's choice leads to this. First and second, nobody out, and Doble deals. Kim does not show bunt, and he also takes outside. Also, Jake Lee not getting pinch run for, at least not yet. It'll be a 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Doble clipping the outside corner. Kim is gone, and that is not a great at-bat for the leadoff man with 2 on and nobody out. A couple failed bunt attempts, and then he strikes out looking. So the baton will be passed to Nico Sango. 0 for 1. Skied into shallow center field. And dropping the ball is Santos. They're going to go to third, and they do not get the out. The bases will be loaded following the E4, second error of the game by Brian Santos. Usually an easier play for the outfielder coming in than an infielder going out. I'm not sure if Mercado would have gotten to that one, so it fell on Santos to make the play. Ball hit him right in the pocket of the glove and just didn't stay in there. So not exactly a dominant rally here by the Bridgemen, but after a hit by pitch, a fielder's choice, and an error, and then another error, they have the bases loaded with 1 out. And right now we have a meeting on the mound. Doble is going to stay in the game, and with 1 out and the bases juiced, he will be facing Luke Senator. Pitch is low, a 1-0 count on the elder Senator brother. He is 0 for 1, hitting here with the bases loaded, with Fort Lee down by 2. Grounded to third. They take the out at third. The throw over to first, not in time, and it gets away from Rivera at first base. Trying to score, and scoring is Sango. And Luke Senator goes to third on the throw home. Lot to unpack there. Just know there are 2 outs, no one is on base, and Fort Lee has tied the game at 2. And I lied, there isn't no one on base. Senator is at third. It's a fielder's choice because they got the out at third base. He picks up the RBI because you can't assume the double play, and then it's an E5 on the throw for not turning the double play. And that allows Luke Senator not only to reach, but go all the way to third base. Scoring on that play were Senator and Sango. And now it's Jacob Greenberg hitting and getting ahead in the count, 2-0. 3 errors have been committed this inning by the Knights. I mentioned that they give up about 11 runs per game. If you can believe it, they don't play the cleanest defense in high school baseball. It's also now a 3-0 count on Fort Lee's cleanup hitter, Jacob Greenberg. Called strike, makes it a 3-1 count. So Fort Lee ties the game, and now the go-ahead run is at third base. There are 2 outs. And Doble will deal the 3-1 pitch. Count goes full. So things getting a little crazy here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And Fort Lee has tied the game at 2. Also, the rain has stopped for now. The payoff pitch. Just upstairs. Ball 4. So Jacob Greenberg walks, and that will bring up Max Greenberg. He reached back in the 1st inning. Or no, I lied. In the 2nd inning, Greenberg reached on Santos's first error of the afternoon. He's currently made 2, and Max Greenberg is 0 for 1 with a stolen base. Little roundtable discussion being had there by the Knights. This isn't Major League Baseball, so you can make multiple trips to the mound in an inning. Doble is not going anywhere. He will be working with 2 on and 2 out. Wonder if Jacob Greenberg is going to try to get himself in scoring position. Yes, he is. They throw to second base. Now they throw home, and Senator is out. Fort Lee tried some trickery there, and it did not work out. Well, hold on now. The umpires are going to meet and discuss. I think they're saying Senator might have been safe at home. Doble is back on the mound with a ball in his hand, so I don't think the inning is over. In terms of how you score that, Jacob Greenberg should get a stolen base. Luke Senator does not, but he does score the go-ahead run. Obviously, no RBI. But Max Greenberg is still hitting. Jacob Greenberg is now on second base. And the Bridgemen have their first lead of the afternoon. It's 3-2 in the bottom of the third inning. Very wacky bottom of the third we've had. That pitch is low as Jacob Greenberg takes a healthy lead off of second base. The infield is in for Paterson Kennedy, and that ball is low. Again, not a pretty rally for Fort Lee. They actually don't have an official hit this inning, but they have put 3 runs on the board. C.J. Senator led off with a hit by pitch. Jake Lee tried to bunt him over to second base, and then the pitcher threw to second somehow, or for some reason. Didn't get the out at second, so 2 on, nobody out. Kim did strike out, but then Nico Sango reached on an error by the second baseman, and then with the bases loaded, Luke Senator reached on a fielder's choice. They did get 1 out, but 1 run scored. And now Max Greenberg grounds it to Santos at second base. He handles this one, and finally, the inning comes to a close. Fort Lee does not pick up a hit, but they do pick up 3 runs, and after 3 innings of play, the Bridgemen lead this one 3-2. We'll get settled, take a breath, and come back for the 4th inning. We head to the 4th inning. Fort Lee leads Paterson Kennedy 3-2. Looking at the run-scoring plays last inning, with the bases loaded, Luke Senator grounded a ball to third base, so 1 run did score. The third baseman stepped on third for the first out, but his throw over to first got away from the first baseman and led to another run scoring, and not only allowed Senator to reach, he ended up going all the way to third base on the play. So a fielder's choice, an RBI for Senator, an E5, and then Jacob Greenberg, after walking, he tried to steal second base. They threw to second, and that allowed Senator to score. Here's a ground ball to third base. Dorcom's throw cannot be picked by Nico Sango. First baseman frustrated with himself. Bertier, the number 9 hitter, will reach on what is going to have to be scored an E5. So when the Knights threw to second and did not get Greenberg, Luke Senator was able to score, and that was how Fort Lee took a 3-2 lead. Now we have a ground ball in the hole. That's a base hit into left field for Mercado. So after leading the whole game, Paterson Kennedy goes down 3-2, and their first 2 batters of the top of the 4th inning reach an E5 and a single, and that will bring up Jonathan Pacheco, who is 2 for 2. It also looks like that will be the end of Jake Lee's day, at least on the mound. He is also the number 9 batter. So Jake Lee comes out. He's going to end up going 3+ innings. He does lead, or leave, with a lead, but the 2 runners on base are his responsibility. If Bertier were to score, that would be an unearned run, but if Mercado scores, that run will be earned. So again, 3-2 lead for the Bridgeman, and here in the top of the 4th inning, the Knights have 2 on and nobody out, and that will lead to a new pitcher. So let's talk about the new pitcher. It's a guy who was not previously in the game, another righty, not number 2, but number 20, Paul Bonilla, a junior, like Jake Lee, and he comes in with 2 on, nobody out, and a 1-run lead for Fort Lee here in the 4th inning. Bonilla's warm-ups are over. Talking briefly with one of the umpires. Now he will talk to his catcher. And then we'll be ready to get right into it. 2 on, nobody out. And I mentioned Pacheco is 2 for 2. He's been thrown out on the bases twice today, but in the box, he's been locked in. Throw over to first base, and the runner gets back. Bonilla's first pitch of the afternoon was a ball. Takes a peek at the runner at second base and deals inside. 2-0 the count on Pacheco. Swing and a miss. 2-1 the count. That pitch is low, and so the count goes to 3-1. The number 3 hitter, Charles Alice Mata, is on deck. Bonilla's 3-1 is tapped to third base. Dorcom steps on third for 1, throws to first, not in time, and so we're going to go from first and second with nobody out to first and second with 1 out. That's a fielder's choice, 5-3. And Alice Mata will step into the batter's box. A strikeout and a walk in 2 plate appearances. And he takes a pitch low. Bonilla's 1-0 is grounded up the middle. Bonilla makes the play, goes to second for 1, on to first. Not in time. The runner scampers back to third base. Nice play there by Bonilla, fielding his position well and getting, I guess, the middle runner. So there will be runners on the corners with 2 out for the Knights pitcher, Christopher Doble. His RBI single put them up 2-0. Now he's going to try to tie the game, and pretty decent start as that pitch is a little outside. Not sure what happened there. Bonilla slipped, and I think they might get him for a balk on that. And it looks like they do. The bad weather gets the Bridgeman there. A balk for Bonilla allows the game-tying run to score. They do not get the runner there, so we're going to have a runner on second with 2 outs. The balk allows the runner to go to from first to second, and also the runner on third to score. So once again, we have a tie game. It's 3-3 here in the top of the 4th inning. And honestly, the bottom of the 3rd and top of the 4th have been frustratingly odd innings. A lot going on. A lot of runs being scored, and not via hits. The runner on second is not going anywhere, but he is dancing around the base paths. It should be a 3-1 count on Doblé. And that's ball 4. So Doblé has reached base all 3 times so far today. 2 walks now, and an RBI single. Runners on first and second with 2 outs, and Wyson Reynoso is the batter. His RBI single in the first gave the Knights a 1-0 lead. He is 1 for 2. And time is called. This one is lofted into center field. CJ Senator barely has to move. He makes the play, and we are halfway through this one. After 3.5 innings, it is Paterson Kennedy 3, Fort Lee 3. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for the bottom of the 4th inning. Fort Lee tied at 3 with the Paterson Kennedy Knights. Fort Lee scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning to take the lead, but the Knights came back in the top of the 4th and tied the game. And so we have what might be somewhat surprisingly a really close one here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. In the bottom of the 4th, it is going to be Dorcom, Nakajima, and CJ Senator. Jack Dorcom takes low. He struck out swinging his first time up. The third baseman has also committed an error so far today. That allowed the leadoff man to reach last inning, and that kind of got the Knights going. That pitch from Doble, who is still on the mound, is inside, and so we have a 2-0 count on the Bridgeman leadoff hitter. Make it a 2-1 count. Doble has taken his time on the mound all afternoon. He deals low here. So it is a 3-1 count on Dorcom. Caught the corner, so it's a full count. We've seen a lot of those on both sides. Doble's payoff pitch. Lined into left field for a base hit. Jack Dorcom put really good metal on that one. And if I'm correct, that is Fort Lee's first base hit of the afternoon. Yes, it is the 4th inning. Yes, they have 3 runs. I believe that is their first actual hit. They've reached on a lot of errors and fielders' choices. So with Dorcom on first, the batter will be senior Ray Nakajima, the DH today for Fort Lee, and he takes upstairs. Nakajima struck out looking his first time up. Fouled off. 1-1 the count. Dorcom, not a huge threat to go. Doble throws over to first anyway to check on him. That's outside. Pacheco fakes like he's going to throw over to first, but he doesn't. And we have a 2-1 count on Nakajima with a runner on first base. The pace of this game has been that of a snail's. Fouled off. 2-2 the count. On a cold, dreary Wednesday afternoon, Doble deals another foul ball. A couple seniors getting ready to graduate and wrap up their high school scholastic and athletic careers. Christopher Doble pitching to Ray Nakajima. 2-2 pitches outside, and guess what? We have another full count. Wind picking up a little bit and pushing around some rain. This actually might be the hardest that it's rained since this game started. Doble's payoff pitch is grounded foul. probably a good thing for Fort Lee, as Rivera was right there. That could have been an easy double play to turn if that ball had stayed fair. And that's low. So Dorcom with a leadoff single, Nakajima with a walk, and that will bring up the center fielder, CJ Senator. Mention that Fort Lee did not have a hit before Dorcom's single. Senator is one of the three guys who scored a run for them. He reached after being hit by a pitch in the third inning. Now batting here in the fourth with 2 on and nobody out. Briefly shows bunt and then takes low. Jake Lee was taken out of the game. I wonder if he will still bat in the 9 spot. For now, let's see what CJ Senator does. What he does is bunt foul. The runners were going. Peter Kraljic is trying to manufacture some runs here, as his offense has been about as dreary as the day so far today. Fort Lee was shut out Monday at Bergenfield 10-0, and today they've put 3 runs on the board, but it's been a little bit of a struggle. Good base running there by Dorcom. Not really sure why Pacheco went through and threw that ball over to first base, but Dorcom was already about halfway to third, so he advances from second to third, and there are now runners on the corners. Still no one out, and it is a 2-1 count on the freshman Senator. Pitching through the raindrops, Doble's pitch is fouled off. That should take away the bunt. Not raining hard right now, but it's definitely noticeable. A few raindrops starting to trickle into the booth here. It's a 2-2 count on CJ Senator, and Doble deals. It's a foul ball. Nakajima was going on that one, so he will have to jog back to first base, and they'll do it again. 2-2 count with 2 on and nobody out. Doble's pitch count has to be getting up there, but also this is his last game of the year, so he can empty the tank. That's another foul ball. Doble peers into his catcher, gets the sign, and is ready to deal. No, he's not. He steps off. 3-3 the score. 2-2 the count. Runners on the corners with nobody out, the situation. The old fake to third, fake to first. You don't see that too much anymore. You're actually not allowed to do that in Major League Baseball anymore. So after really back-to-back step-offs, we will see if Doble is actually ready to face the freshman Senator brother. Again, Fort Lee's starting pitcher, Jake Lee, should be on deck. Ground ball. First baseman got a piece of it. And everybody is going to advance one base. Nakajima to second. Senator will reach on the single, and Dorcom will score, putting the Bridgeman up 4-3. That is the third scoring play of the afternoon for Fort Lee, and it is the first one where they actually got a hit to drive in a run. Runners on first and second now. Nobody out, and the first pitch is swung on and missed by Bonilla. So he not only takes over for Jake Lee on the mound, he also takes over in the number 9 spot in the lineup. And Bonilla quickly in an 0-2 hole. Time is called as Bonilla steps out. Jake Lee went 0 for 1. He dropped down a bunt, didn't get scored a sacrifice because Doble tried to get the out at second. So a fielder's choice and an E1 allowed Lee to reach. So again, technically 0 for 1. And now Bonilla is also 0 for 1 as he strikes out looking. So one gone here in the bottom of the fourth inning, and that will bring up Stefan Kim, his third plate appearance of the afternoon here in the fourth inning. The freshman has walked and struck out, so a no-contact day for him so far. Also 1 out of 2 in stolen base attempts. Lined on a hop to the shortstop. They go to second for 1, on to first. They got him. No, they didn't. Really close play at first base. It's going to be a fielder's choice. Score that 6-4. And there will be runners on the corners with 2 out for the Bridgeman. And Nico Sango will be the batter. Not going to lie, I thought they got Kim at first base. The umpire who is working the infield disagreed. So again, runners at the corners with 2 out for Fort Lee. They lead by 1. Sango is 0 for 2. That pitch is way upstairs, and that allows Kim to scurry onto second base. That's a wild pitch. Mentioned Sango 0 for 2, but he did reach his second time up on an error by the second baseman Santos, and he did come around to score a run. The Knights going to play the infield defense straight up, and that pitch is inside. 2-0 the count on Sango. Doble deals. Grounded foul. So Fort Lee putting 3 runs on the board without the benefit of a hit in the third inning. This inning, they've picked up a couple hits, also a walk, and they've taken a 4-3 lead. Now 2 runners in scoring position for Sango as the rain starts to intensify. Doble bounces that one up there, does not get far enough away from Pacheco for the runner at third to go anywhere. After a little bit of a pause there, everybody is once again ready. And Doble deals. That's sent into center field. Mercado makes the play with the raindrops falling all around him. Fort Lee takes the lead, unable to expand upon that lead, and we will go to the 5th inning with the Bridgeman leading this one 4-3. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex here in Fort Lee. We are, in fact, ready to play the 5th inning. Bridgeman leading the Knights of Paterson Kennedy by a score of 4-3. Going to be 6, 7, 8 for the Knights in their batting order, starting with Jaonel Rivera, the first baseman. And he swings and misses. Rivera has reached base both times up so far today, hit by a pitch and singled against Jake Lee, now facing Paul Bonilla. Down the first baseline, that one goes just foul. So an 0-2 count on Rivera. Bonilla came on with nobody out and a couple on in the top of the 4th inning. He allowed a run on a balk that tied the game at 3. Now he once again is working with a 1-run lead. This one is lofted into center field. CJ Senator makes the play, and there's one out. That'll bring up Brian Santos. The Knights' second baseman has committed 2 errors. Offensively, he's 0 for 1 with a walk. Sends this one to right. Backing up is Jacob Greenberg, and he makes the play. A 1-pitch at bat. And now Bonilla will deal with Melvin Garcia. And speaking of flyouts, he has flied out to left and center so far today. And he's going to get pinch hit for. Pinch hitting for Melvin Garcia will be number 12, Yoel Ventura. And Ventura, also swinging on the first pitch, grounds it to third. Nice play by Jack Dorcom. Ball popped out of his glove. He regained a handle on it and made a strong throw over to first base. A really nice, quick 1-2-3 inning for Paul Bonilla, and that will send us to the bottom of the fifth. Fort Lee leading 4-3. Tommy Aquilina here with you as we head to the bottom of the fifth inning. Each one of the first four innings was really a struggle for the Fort Lee pitchers to get through, Jake Lee and Paul Bonilla, but he absolutely, Bonilla that is, zipped through that top of the fifth inning, 3 up, 3 down, including getting the last two guys out in one pitch at bats. Now we go to the bottom of the fifth inning, and Christopher Doblé will wind up going 4 innings and allowing 4 runs. He gives way to the new Knights pitcher, number 25, Jaonel Rivera. So after playing first base the first 4 innings, Rivera will take over on the mound in the bottom of the fifth inning, and I believe Yoel Ventura, who pinch hit for Garcia last inning, will be at first base. Also, just looking, Doblé has gone from the mound into left field. So it is now Doblé, Mercado, Nunez, left to right for the Knights. Rivera on the mound, and he will face 3, 4, 5 in the Bridgeman order. It'll be Luke Senator, Jacob Greenberg, and Max Greenberg. A lot of brotherly love on this Fort Lee team. Luke, the older brother of CJ Senator, and then you have the Greenberg brothers as well, hitting back-to-back in the lineup today. Luke Senator is 0 for 2, but he did pick up an RBI on a fielder's choice, and he also came around to score a run. Rivera's first pitch of the afternoon inside. Rivera gets a brief visit from his second baseman Santos, and now ready to pick up again. It is raining, legitimately raining, but for now at least they're letting the boys play through it. That's a ground ball, past a diving Ausmata, and into left field. So a base hit for Luke Senator, leading off the bottom of the fifth inning. So Senator now 1 for 3 with an RBI, and that will bring up the right fielder today for the Bridgemen, and number 3 hitter, or cleanup hitter, I should say, Jacob Greenberg. 0 for 1 with a walk and a stolen base. That ball is tapped right back to Rivera. He's going to take the out at first base. Senator will advance to second. Score that 1-3, and that will bring up Max Greenberg. He's gone after Santos both times up so far today. Santos committed an error and then did record the assist on a 4-3 ground out by Max Greenberg. So he is technically 0 for 2 with a stolen base. And he takes inside here. Fort Lee led 3-2. Now they're up 4-3, trying to give Bonilla a little bit of breathing room. Oh my goodness, that throw to second base goes into center field, untouched by Santos. Luke Senator is trying to score, and he will. More sloppy defense from the Knights. That's an E1, and it's a two-base error, allowing Senator to score. So there is that multi-run lead the Bridgemen were looking for. And now Max Greenberg will bat with the bases empty. So 1 RBI and 2 runs scored for Luke Senator. He has driven in or scored 60% of Fort Lee's 5 runs. It's a 1-0 count on Max Greenberg as the rain has let up a little bit. Two 2-0 the count. Three 3-0. I think he plunked him there. Doesn't really matter, but for bookkeeping purposes, that should be a hit by pitch. First time Max Greenberg has reached safely this afternoon, and there will be a runner on first with 1 out. Jack Dorcom will be the batter. 1 for 2 with a run scored. Both Knights pitchers have committed an error, and the throwing error by Rivera, again, a 2-base error, trying to check Senator back, and instead he threw the ball into center field. Mercado took his time getting to the ball, so Luke Senator said, forget third base, I'll go all the way home, and he did. So Fort Lee with 3 runs in the 3rd inning, 1 run in the 4th, 1 run in so far here in the 5th, and a runner on first with 1 out, and Dorcom in the batter's box. Runner is going, pitch is inside, stolen base for Max Greenberg. Throw gets away from the shortstop, Greenberg will be in there. That's going to be a stolen base and then an E2, allowing him to go to third. So Max Greenberg with 2 steals today. Give Pacheco a throwing error. The Knights have committed a lot of errors so far today. And now a runner at third with 1 out. Paterson Kennedy will bring the infield in. And that pitch will be inside. Pacheco tried to get the call for his pitcher, but was unable to. So a 1-0 count on Dorcom. Still just 1 away. Grounded to third. That's not going to bring in Greenberg. So score that 5-3, and it'll be up to Ray Nakajima to get that 6th run across for Fort Lee. Nakajima struck out looking his first time up and then walked his last time up. The senior DHing today for Fort Lee. It was supposed to be senior day. The weather did not cooperate, so senior day has been postponed, but obviously we're still playing this game. Rivera deals low. The infielders are able to back up for the Knights now that there are 2 outs. Looks like the rain has stopped for now. Rivera deals way outside, gets away from Pacheco, but not far enough away for Max Greenberg to go anywhere. Pretty young Fort Lee team. They don't have too many seniors on the roster, but Nakajima is one of them. And with his high school career coming to a close, he takes a pitch low. So 3-0 the count on the Bridgeman DH. Nakajima hitting for Marcus Lee, who is playing left field this afternoon. I'm sure a lot of the balls are wet and dirty, so Rivera taking his time around the mound, getting the ball to his liking. He will be dealing a 3-0 pitch. And it's a 4-pitch walk to Nakajima, who is working on a no-contact day. A strikeout and a couple bases on balls. CJ Senator will be the batter. 1 for 1 with a hit by pitch, an RBI, and a run scored. He's also played a good center field today. A hit here could really allow Fort Lee to step on the throats of a Paterson Kennedy team that is 2-19 on the season. And then the pitcher Bonilla is on deck. Rivera steps off. Almost 6 o'clock here on a Wednesday afternoon. That one is grounded foul. Game was scheduled to start at 4:15, but with there being no senior day festivities and also getting ready to anticipate some rain, they started early. So this game is approaching the 2-hour mark. It's a 1-1 count on the younger Senator brother. Runner at first base is going. He is going to easily steal second base. Pitch got away from Pacheco. So 2 runners in scoring position. And a hit here would probably allow the Bridgemen to double their lead. Did he hit him? Yes, he did. Senator is plunked for the second time today. And so the bases are juiced for the number 9 batter. Jake Lee started the game. Paul Bonilla replaced him on the mound in the 4th inning. And now we have a meeting on the mound with Bonilla set to get his second plate appearance of the afternoon. I would imagine they would not take Rivera out. But let's see what happens. Okay, so they leave Rivera in. The words of wisdom have been spoken. Now let's see if the Knights can get out of this jam. Bases loaded. There are 2 outs. And Bonilla takes inside. Obviously, there's nowhere to put the Bridgeman pitcher. Bonilla struck out his first time up. And he swings and misses here. Rivera deals low. Because Jake Lee only went 3+, Bonilla would pick up the win if Fort Lee is able to hold on here. This would be a comeback win for the Bridgemen. They trailed this one 2-0. Currently up 5-3, and Bonilla looking to help himself out. Count will level off at 2-2. Big spot in this game. Obviously, Paterson Kennedy has lost the overwhelming majority of their games, but they are still in this one. However, a big hit here could kind of make them go, here we go again, and almost lull them into just filling out the string. This is the last game of the season for the Knights. The 2-2 pitch is high. Huge pitch coming. 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. Bridgeman already up by a couple. And Rivera deals low. Ball 4. Max Greenberg scores. Give Bonilla an RBI. And the Bridgemen are now doubling up the Knights. It is 6-3. And that will do it for Jaonel Rivera. The Knights will bring in a third pitcher, Fort Lee, still threatening with the bases loaded. Going to step aside super quickly and get you some information on the new Knights pitcher. We're back. It is senior Pedro Santana, number 22, on the mound for the Knights and dealing outside. Last game of the season for Paterson Kennedy, so this should be the last game of the high school careers of all of their seniors. And Dennis Santana gets a last turn on the mound. He is the Knights' third pitcher. He is dealing to Stefan Kim, a senior, or a freshman rather, for Fort Lee. His high school career just getting started. It's a 1-1 count. Kim hitting with the bases loaded. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. And he takes another pitch in the dirt, 2-1. Fort Lee leading this one 6-3 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Another pitch outside. Nowhere to put Kim. Bonilla just walked with the bases loaded, giving himself an RBI. Santana deals, and the pitch is tapped foul. Another full count on the way. Long set here for Santana. Now he's ready to go, and the pitch is inside. Chases Kim off the plate, and he will pick up an RBI on the bases loaded walk. Nakajima scores. CJ Senator goes to third. Bonilla goes to second. Bases still loaded. Still 2 outs. It is 7-3 Fort Lee. And another ball as Santana is now pitching to Nico Sango. 0 for 3 with a run scored as he reached on an error. Grounded to short. Alice Mata goes the short way at second base. And that'll do it. So, we've played 5 innings here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. The Bridgeman leading the Knights 7-3. We go to the 6th inning. Paul Bonilla came on with nobody out in the 4th, so this is technically his 3rd inning of work. That one is tapped, handled by Bonilla. The throw to first, got him. Really nice play. That's a couple of those by the new Bridgeman pitcher. I believe the batter was supposed to be Birdier there, the DH. He was pinch hit for by Juan Hierro, and the senior Hierro grounds out on one pitch. Score that 1-3. One away now, and we go back to the top of the order, and Yordani Mercado takes ball 1. Mercado is 2 for 3 with a run scored. And he takes upstairs, 2-0. I believe that was 3 batters in a row that Bonilla retired on the very first pitch of the at-bat. And now Mercado being a little bit more patient here. It's a 2-1 count with 1 out and nobody on. The Knights are really still in this one. It's only a 4-run game with a couple innings to go. And Mercado has his 3rd hit of the day. The senior, in what might be his last plate appearance in high school, picks up a single with 1 out, and that will bring up another senior for the Knights, catcher Jonathan Pacheco. He's done a lot of work back there behind the plate. He's also 2 for 3 with a run scored. Bonilla deals low. Luke Senator throws over to first, and Mercado gets back. Fort Lee trailed 2-0. They took a 3-2 lead. The Knights did come back to tie the game, but so far 4 unanswered runs for the Bridgeman. Looking to go back over 500 on the season. They came into this one 11-11. Bonilla fakes a throw over to first. Fort Lee, just 2-4 here in May. That includes a 6-0 loss to Ramapo in the preliminary round of the Bergen County tournament, I should say, back on May 4th. 11-11 on the season, coming off a loss on Monday, trying to get that taste out of their mouths, and then they have a couple more games left this season. That's a ground ball. Diving for it is Nico Sango, and that's going to prevent Mercado from going past second base, but Pacheco will reach. That's a single, and now each of the first 2 batters in the Knights lineup has a 3-hit day. Nice play by Sango to stop that one from getting into the outfield. Mercado definitely would have gone to third base if he hadn't, but Stefan Kim was unable to get to first base, so nothing for Sango to do but hold on to that one. So we have 2 on and 1 out for Charles Awis Mata, the shortstop and number 3 hitter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. 1-0 the count. Grounded to short. They're going to go to third for the first out, and they got him. The no tag needed to be applied there. I think the umpire called him safe, but they didn't need to apply a tag. That was a force play. Dorcom did go to tag the runner, but as long as the throw beat Mercado, he should be out. They called him safe. So that'll be a fielder's choice, and the bases are now loaded for the cleanup hitter, not on the mound anymore, but Christopher Doble. An RBI single and 2 walks in his first 3 plate appearances, and I think that one hit him. It did. An RBI hit by pitch for Doble. Mercado scores for the second time today. The bases are still loaded, and it's now a 7-4 game. Grounded to first, diving play by Sango. What a play by Nico Sango. The Knights are rallying, but Nico Sango might have just killed it. Reynoso does pick up an RBI on the ground out, and so the Knights are going to have runners on second and third with 2 outs. It's also now a 7-5 game, and Jaonel Rivera is the batter. A hit here could tie the game for the Knights. Rivera takes a strike. He's 1 for 2, and he was also hit by a pitch. Pitch gets away from Luke Senator, but goes right back to him. Nico Sango with a couple diving plays this inning, preventing runners from advancing a couple times. This one is tapped weakly to third. Dorcom makes the play. So the Knights refusing to go away, and after 5.5 innings, it is a 7-5 Fort Lee advantage. The Bridgeman will look to add some more tack-on runs when we come back in the bottom of the 6th. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. We have officially crossed the 2-hour mark of this game as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Fort Lee leading Paterson Kennedy 7-5. The Knights making things interesting, scoring a couple runs in the top of the 6th inning. So this game is very much not over. Pedro Santana still on the mound, and he almost plunks Luke Senator. It'll be Senator, Greenberg for the Bridgeman as they look to add to their 2-run lead. Fourth time through the order for the Bridgeman. Luke Senator is 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. And the Bridgeman catcher fouls that one off. 1-1 the count. Santana deals high. From a pitch way too high to a pitch in the dirt, it is a 3-1 count on the Fort Lee catcher. Santana's 3-1 offering catches the outside corner, and so we have another full count. The payoff pitch is fouled off, so we will do it again. A pretty good game for the Knights in terms of their pitching, at least relative to how they've done the rest of the season. Came into this one giving up about 11 runs per game. The Bridgemen have scored 7 in the first 5 innings. This is the bottom of the 6th. And Senator shoots that one into right field for a base hit. Second inning in a row that Luke Senator has reached on a leadoff single. That will bring up Jacob Greenberg. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. Santana steps off. The Knights do not have a high-flying lineup, so it's important that they keep this game where it is at 2. They're definitely capable of scoring 2 runs in an inning. They just did in the top of the 6th. So Santana will try to keep things right here and keep the Knights in this game. Fort Lee, after being down 2-0, took the lead, but they've been unable to pull away. Trying to here as Greenberg sends this one out into left, but Doble is right there. 1 out. And so that'll bring up Jacob's brother, Max Greenberg. He is 0 for 2, but he was hit by a pitch, and he scored last inning. Santana takes a peek at the runner on first and now steps off. Some raindrops falling. The umpires have let the boys play through the rain so far today as Luke Senator is out. Charles Awis-Mata held on to the throw from Pacheco and tagged Luke Senator out. So now both catchers have thrown each other out trying to steal, and there are 2 away with a 1-0 count on Max Greenberg. And he takes low, so it'll be a 2-0 count on Max Greenberg. 2 outs and nobody on now. Grounded foul. And the count goes to 2-1. The catchers have been very busy today. A lot of pitches that have gotten away from the catchers. Obviously, the weather is not helping. A lot of guys trying to steal. Max Greenberg is 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts so far this afternoon, which has turned into the early evening. Santana's 2-1 pitch is high. Santana deals. Lined foul. So a 3-2 count on Max Greenberg, looking to start a 2-out rally here for Fort Lee after Luke Senator was caught stealing. And he'll take a pitch low. Was it not already 3-2? I guess it wasn't. Now it should be a 3-2 count. He definitely has 2 strikes on him. Now he steps out. Yeah, we're going to continue on with this plate appearance. I believe it is now a 3-2 count with Santana pitching to Greenberg. That was ball 4, or maybe ball 5, who knows. Either way, Max Greenberg works a 2-out walk. And so Jack Dorcom will get a 4th plate appearance. He is 1 for 3 with a run scored, and we're going to have another meeting on the mound, and we are going to see a 4th pitcher for the Knights. Mentioned that they want to keep it a 2-run game and keep themselves in this one, so they're going to bring a 4th pitcher in. We saw Doble, we saw Rivera, and now Santana will give way to Charles Awis Mata. The sophomore will come in from shortstop and take the mound, and we will see what he and Dorcom do momentarily. That was a very quick warm-up for Charles Awis Mata. One more warm-up pitch, and now he is ready to go. The Knights' 4th pitcher of the day comes in with 2 outs and a runner on first base. He will try to send the Knights to the 7th inning, where they will attempt to come back from a multi-run deficit. They're hoping to keep it right here at 2. Dorcom takes ball 1. 1 for 3 with a run scored today. A throw over. Mentioned Max Greenberg has already stolen 2 bases so far today. That's low. Pacheco keeps it close, but it's a 2-0 count. Dorcom, the number 6 batter in this Bridgeman lineup. On deck is the senior, Ray Nakajima. That pitch is low. Pacheco threw over to first, and it got by the first baseman, but the left fielder was there backing things up. So no harm, no foul. Max Greenberg stays at first base. It is now a 3-0 count on Dorcom. Do they green-light Dorcom here? Doesn't matter. That pitch is in the dirt. So back-to-back two-out walks for the Bridgeman. And Rei Nakajima, the senior, on what would have been senior day if it wasn't such a dreary day out, will come up for a fourth time. He struck out his first time up, and since then he's worked a couple walks and stolen a base. Nakajima DHing for the left fielder, Marcus Lee. And fouling off the first pitch he sees from Awis Mata. With Awis Mata on the mound, it's number 20, Wyson Reynoso at shortstop for the Knights. The 0-1 pitch is dropped in there for a strike. The 0-2 pitch. That's going to drop. Santos couldn't get there. Greenberg will score a two-out RBI single for the senior, Rei Nakajima. And Fort Lee extends the lead to 3. Fighting off the 0-2 pitch. Nakajima picks up a bloop single and an RBI. Fort Lee now leads this one 8-5. And it'll be CJ Senator, who has reached base all 3 times so far today. Taps that one foul. The younger Senator brother has been hit by a pitch twice, and in between those, he picked up an RBI single. Another quick 0-2 count. That pitch is low, and so the count goes to 1-2. So Fort Lee with a 3-run lead, looking for more, but Senator takes called strike 3. So that will do it for the 6th inning. They finally replace or retire Senator. And we will go to the 7th inning, where Fort Lee will look to protect a 3-run lead and finish this one off. Let's see if it's going to be Bonilla finishing this one off on the mound. Officially, Bonilla has gone 3 innings so far, and it looks like he is going to try to finish this one off. He would be in line for the win if Fort Lee holds on to what is now an 8-5 advantage. It's been a long season for the Paterson Kennedy Knights. Do they have one more rally in them? At times, they've been able to put runs on the board. When they won back-to-back games earlier this month, they beat Saddlebrook 19-11, and then they beat Garfield 12-7. That was followed by their 7-4 loss against Hackensack on Monday. Fort Lee has had a rough May, but if they hold on, it would be 2 wins in 3 games for the Bridgemen. And then tomorrow they will be back here hosting Riverdale, also at 4:15. After getting the last out on the mound in the bottom of the 6th inning, Awismata leads off the top of the 7th, and he grounds it to shortstop. Nico Sango can't pick the hop. That was Santos as the batter, not Awismata. So Santos, 0 for 3 with a walk now. He reaches on the E6. And that will bring up Yoel Ventura. He pinch hit for Melvin Garcia and grounded out to third base his last time up, and here he takes a ball. Trailing by 3, the Knights are going to need some base runners. Santos leads off first. Bonilla deals a strike. And a 1-1 count on the sophomore, Ventura. Luke Senator threw over to first base. Santos doesn't go anywhere, partially because Nico Sango stopped that ball from going into the outfield. Bonilla going to get himself a fresh baseball. He'll have a 2-1 count on Ventura. Outside, count goes to 3-1. If Ventura reaches, then the tying run would come to the plate. And that's the situation we're going to find ourselves in. Ventura walks. That will bring up the number 9 hitter, not Bertier, but Hierro. This is his second plate appearance of the day. Hierro is 0 for 1, and he's now down in the count 0-1. This one is chopped to short. They're not going to get the out at second base. Oh, it looks like the umpire did call him out. I don't know about that one, but Fort Lee will take it. So it's a 6-4 fielder's choice. The umpire gives the Bridgeman the out at second base, so runners on the corners with 1 away. That'll bring up Mercado, and this has been the really good part of the Knights lineup so far today. Mercado is 3 for 4, and Pacheco on deck is also 3 for 4. Right now, Mercado is the tying run, and he takes a strike. Bonilla's 0-1 pitch is outside. So the count goes to 1-1. The runner on third is really not important. Fort Lee leads by 3, but Mercado is the tying run. So you want to keep everybody else off base if you're Fort Lee. You don't want to extend this game. Tapped foul, and it's a 1-2 count. Runner going. Luke Senator's throw. Not in time. A stolen base for Hierro. So now 2 runners in scoring position, and if Mercado can find a way on, things are going to get really interesting here in the top of the 7th inning. Bonilla deals. Low. So we have a full count. First base is open, but Mercado is also the tying run. And Bonilla deals outside. So Mercado on base for a 4th time today, and that'll bring up Jonathan Pacheco. 3 for 4 with a run scored, and he is the go-ahead run here in the top of the 7th inning. A meeting on the mound. Bonilla's going to stay in there. Pete Kraljic trusting Bonilla to work himself out of his own jam and finish this one off. Bases loaded, 1 out. Tying run is at first base. Pacheco swings and lines it into left field for a base hit. Max Greenberg could not quite come up with that one. Ball zipped by him. Pacheco is 4 for 5 with an RBI. Bases still loaded. It's now a 2-run game. And that'll bring up the guy who right now is the pitcher for the Knights, Awis Mata. Their number 3 hitter, but he's also just 0 for 3 with a walk today. Bonilla gathers himself, sets, and deals. Ball 1. Paterson Kennedy refusing to go away. Bases loaded with just 1 out. Now a 2-run game. And that pitch is low. Obviously nowhere to put Awis Mata. It's actually a 1-1 count, not 2-0. Big difference there. That pitch is low, so now it's a 2-1 count. Bonilla living at the edges right now. That pitch is inside. Awis Mata is in the driver's seat, 3-1. Bonilla deals. Called strike 2. So another full count. The payoff pitch is low, ball 4. So things are indeed getting very interesting here in the top of the 7th inning. And Bonilla is going to be taken out of the game. We will have a new pitcher, 3rd pitcher of the day for the Bridgeman. They lead by 1. The bases are still loaded, and there is just 1 away. The 3rd pitcher is going to be Jack Dorcom. He will come in from 3rd base. The Knights refusing to go away here in their final game of the 2024 season. 8-7, Bases loaded, 1 out, and they're going to have their cleanup hitter, Christopher Doble, at the dish. And Doble's been perfect so far today. He's 1 for 1 with 2 RBI, 2 walks, and a hit by pitch. He started the game on the mound, then moved to left field, and he's been on base all 4 times up. Dorcom should be just about ready to go. The fielders for Fort Lee go back to their spots. And Dorcom is going to try to close this one out. It is, in fact, a save situation as he comes in with a 1-run lead and the bases loaded and 1 away here in the top of the 7th inning. So Peter Kraljic asking Dorcom to get a 2-out save. It is also only the top of the 7th inning, so Fort Lee will get to bat again if they need. Dorcom's first pitch almost hits Doble. That would have tied the game. The 1-0 pitch is low. If I'm Doble, I am not even thinking about swinging until a strike has been thrown. Make Dorcom come to you. If he walks, we have a tie game. And the count goes to 3-0. Rain starting to pick up a little bit, making things even harder for Dorcom. Doble awaiting the 3-0 pitch. They turned him loose and he fouled it off. Bases loaded, 3-1 count, and a 1-run game. Dorcom deals. Ball 4, just outside. Doble, a bases-loaded walk, and the Knights have come all the way back to tie this game at 8. That pitch is fouled away by Wyson Reynoso. So we're tied at 8, and there will be a bottom of the 7th inning. Will Fort Lee be tied, or will they be looking to make a comeback? The 0-1 to Reynoso is high. 1-1 count, bases still loaded for the Knights. Lofted into left center, that's a base hit. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. And the Knights have taken a 10-8 lead here in the top of the 7th inning. Reynoso picks up his 3rd and 4th ribbies of the day, and the Knights, with their first lead since 2-0, it's 10-8, and J.N.L. Rivera is in the batter's box. Grounded to second, through. That's a base hit. And another run scores. It's 11-8. The wheels totally coming off the bus here for Fort Lee in the top of the 7th inning. Not only unable to protect a 3-run lead, it's now a 3-run deficit. Still just 1 out and 2 men on. Here is Santos. And there's a ball. Ball 2. Santos fouls that one off. You can hear the hooting and hollering from the Knights' dugout. Has to be very exciting for them. It's been such a long season. But a 6-run top of the 7th inning, still just 1 out, as the Knights are looking to finish the season by winning 3 of their last 4 games. Dorcom deals upstairs, and it's now a 3-1 count, 1 pitch away from reloading the bases. Which he does. That pitch is a little upstairs. Santos started this inning by reaching on an E6. Now he walks, and the bases are loaded again with 1 out, and the Knights already leading by 3. And Peter Kowalczyk is kind of desperate now. He's going to take Dorcom out of the game, and we're going to see a 4th Fort Lee pitcher. It's going to be Max Greenberg. We'll step aside. That's going to be the 2nd walk of the inning for Ventura. It'll bring Hierro up. And the pitch to Hierro is low. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count. So for Greenberg, he comes on with the bases loaded. He actually got Ventura to strike out looking, but again, the bases are still loaded. 2 outs, and Hierro hitting for a third time now, and a second time this inning. That one is grounded right back to Greenberg. He didn't know where to go. Could have gone to any base, including home for the out. He ends up going to first, score that 1-3, but the damage has been done and then some. A 6-run top of the 7th inning for the Paterson Kennedy Knights, and now they are 3 outs away from coming away with a victory. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and we'll see if Fort Lee has a rally in their bones. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. It's been a wacky one this afternoon and now evening as we approach the 7 o'clock hour. The Knights of Paterson Kennedy with a 6-run top of the 7th, turning an 8-5 deficit into an 11-8 lead. Now the Bridgemen are going to see if they can respond with a last inning comeback of their own. We've been playing baseball here for over 2.5 hours already. Still just in the bottom of the 7th inning. Charles Awis Mata still on the mound. He got the last out of the top of the 7th inning. And now he is going to try to finish things off in the bottom of the 7th. If he does, he will pick up the win because he was in the game when the Knights took the lead. So the Knights refusing to roll over and die and making an impressive comeback in the 7th inning. Let's see what the Bridgemen have in store for us. Little fist bump between batter and catcher. The batter for the Bridgemen is number 13, Gabe Garcia, making a pinch-hitting appearance. Massive pause in his delivery, and Awis Mata deals ball 1. Pitch in the dirt, 2-0. At this point, down 3 in the 7th, all Bridgeman batters should be taking a strike, but that's a little bit of an outdated philosophy. The 2-0 pitch is high. Something tells me we're not going to have a quick and easy bottom of the 7th inning here. That pitch is outside, also could not be handled by Pacheco, and it's ball 4. So Gabe Garcia with a pinch hit walk. And that'll send things back to the top of the order and Stefan Kim. Kim is 0 for 2 with 2 walks, and one of the walks came with the bases loaded, so he does have an RBI today. Trying to keep the line moving for the Bridgeman, and he takes outside. Like in the top half of the inning for the Knights, the Bridgemen want to keep the line moving, avoid outs if possible, and get as many base runners on as they can. Remember, they're down by 3 right now, so at this point, they're just looking for base runners to get the tying run to come up to the plate. Home plate umpire just signaled that it is a 1-1 count on Kim. And now it's a 2-1 count. Garcia on first with nobody out. And a called strike there levels the count. Or no, was the outside? Outside. It has been difficult at times to tell what the home plate umpire is calling. So I apologize for that. But it's a 3-1 count on Stefan Kim. And now it's a full count. Very easy to tell when it's a foul ball. And we have a throw over to first, letting the anticipation build even more. Awis Mata deals the payoff pitch, and it is called strike 3. Pacheco throws down to first to check on Garcia. Kim strikes out looking for the second time today, and with 1 out and 1 on, the batter will be Nico Sango. A lot of runs scored today, a lot of guys reaching base. Nico Sango has had a rough day offensively. He is 0 for 4 with 1 run scored because he did reach on an error. If you're the Bridgeman, you want to get people on base any which way you can. Awis Mata deals, drops a strike right in there. Good pitch. It's an 0-2 count. Sango has to protect here. And he takes a pitch way upstairs, gets past Pacheco, but you do not want to make any outs on the bases right now, so Garcia stays put at first base. The 1-2. That's a little high, too. Awis Mata sets and deals. Fly ball. Right field. The catch cannot be made. Did that land foul? Yes, it did. A very lucky break for the Knights. The count remains 2-2. Sango with a runner on first and 1 out. Luke Senator, the catcher, on deck. He is the tying run, so you need him to get to the plate with 2 guys on. Just missed. Awismata wanted that call. Umpire does not give it to him. Credit to the home plate umpire for calling things as he sees it and calling it straight up here in the 7th inning. It's really elongated the game, but letting the boys play. The payoff pitch is inside, ball 4. And so Fort Lee will send the tying run to the plate. It'll be Luke Senator with 2 aboard and 1 away. Luke is 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. He does not have a home run this season, but he does represent the tying run. And after a meeting on the mound, Awismata is ready to go. Rain starting to factor into this one again. Lined on a hop to short. It gets by the shortstop and into left field. Everybody advances 1 base. Wyson Reynoso tried to backhand it and just didn't. Ball got by him. I'm calling that a hit for Luke Senator. That's his 3rd of the day. And the bases are loaded. The Knights did not go away down 3 in the 7th inning, and the Bridgeman not going away. The bases are loaded with 1 out. Jacob Greenberg steps to the plate as the potential winning run. Tying run is on first base. Swing and a miss. Jacob Greenberg trying to jump the pitcher. He's down in the count 0-1. He's 0 for 3 with 1 walk today. Awismata deals outside. We are in the 7 o'clock hour. This game nearly 3 hours old between the Knights of Paterson Kennedy and the Bridgeman of Fort Lee. One the count. In there for a called strike. 1-2 the count as the rain starts to intensify. That pitch is low. Count is even at 2-2. Jacob's brother Max Greenberg is on deck. That's outside, and so we're going to have a 3-2 count. There's nowhere to put Greenberg, but also the Knights do have a 3-run lead. The payoff pitch is lofted into shallow left field. Doble coming in, and he snow-coned it. Let's see how they score this, because the runner was racing to third. I think they're going to call him out. I believe they're going to say that's an E7 on Doble, which allows a run to score, but then he did get the out at third base. So an E7 and then a 7-5 putout. So where does that leave us? Runners on first and second with 2 outs for Fort Lee, and they now trail 11-9. I don't know if that was the proper way to call that. I kind of think Doble made the catch and then lost it on the transfer, but this is what we have. 2 on, 2 out in a 2-run game. Awismata dealing to Max Greenberg. and that's a strike. Ball got away from Pacheco, and so the 2 runners advanced. Very gutsy to go there with 2 outs. And I think on the throw down to third, the third baseman might have been injured. It's been an extremely wacky 7th inning here. The count is 0-1, and when we resume play, we're going to have runners on second and third with 2 outs. So the Knights are 1 out away from a season-ending victory, but also the tying run is in scoring position for the Bridgeman. This has not been the most crisp high school baseball game that I've ever participated in or seen, but it is one that's featured a lot of drama. Awismata keeping his arm loose by throwing the ball around, I believe, with one of his outfielders, and I think we're ready to resume play again. So runners 2 on, but now both in scoring position for Fort Lee. 2 out in a 2-run game and an 0-1 count on Max Greenberg. This one going right down to the wire here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. And Awismata deals low. Jacob Greenberg with a healthy lead off of second base. His brother at the dish, and he takes low, 2-1. Max Greenberg is 0 for 2, and he's also been hit by a pitch and walked once each. Takes upstairs, now 3-1. First base is open. Jack Dorcom is on deck. The 3-1 pitch. Grounded, foul. Paterson Kennedy 1 strike away from ending the season with a W. They also happen to be 1 pitch away from reloading the bases here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the payoff pitch is high. He tried to fake out Greenberg by putting a little pause in his delivery, but he dealt upstairs. So the bases are loaded for Fort Lee once again. The tying run is still at second base. The potential winning run for the Bridgeman is now at first base. And Dorcom steps up to the plate. He is 1 for 3 with a walk. And he takes a strike. The 0-1 is high. Still a huge lead at second base for Jacob Greenberg. He's like a third of the way to third. Strike 2 is poured in there. Or did he call it a ball? He called it a ball. Little low and outside from Awismata. So it's a 2-1 count. That was a big pitch. Huge difference between 2-1 and 1-2. And now it's 3-1. Dorcom probably going to be incredibly patient on this next pitch. And that's low, ball 4. Not really sure why they threw over to first base there. So give Dorcom an RBI. That's his second walk of the game. And now the bases are loaded with 2 outs in a 1-run game. The tying run is now at third base, and the winning run for Fort Lee is in scoring position. And how fitting is this on what would have been senior day if not for the rain? Senior DH Ray Nakajima will bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs. He takes high. Nakajima with an RBI single his last time up. He is 1 for 2 with 2 walks today. The 1-0 pitch. Not even close. 2-0. Jacob Greenberg at third base as the tying run. Max Greenberg at second base as the potential winning run. Really, nothing else matters, with Awismata dealing to Nakajima. It's going to be a 2-0 pitch. Called strike 1. Grounded, weakly to third. It's fielded. The throw is in time. It all came down to that, and Ray Nakajima grounds out weakly to third base. It seemed like that 7th inning would never end, but it does. Fort Lee rallies for 2 runs. They are unable to get the tying run, and so the final, the Paterson Kennedy Knights, 11. The Fort Lee Bridgeman, 10. Paterson Kennedy does, in fact, end the season by winning 3 of their last 4 games. They will finish the 2024 campaign 3-19 and 2-7 on the road. Meanwhile, that's a tough loss for the Bridgemen. Senior day gets canceled because of the rain, and then they fall to Paterson Kennedy by a final score of 11-10. The Bridgemen drop to 11-12 on the season. That is their second consecutive loss, but they will be right back in action tomorrow. That will be here against Riverdale. They're now 5-5 at home, so they're going to try to get back to 500 on the season and back over 500 at home tomorrow. First pitch will be at 4:15. A long one, a tough one for the Bridgemen. Want to give one more shout out to our Fort Lee Bridgeman Athletic sponsors. Thank you so much to the law offices of Deborah L. Pico, LLC, the Finest Construction Home Improvement Specialists, the law office of Mark J. Sokolich, the Fort Lee Soccer Club, and Sedona Tap House. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Thank you so much for tuning in all season long to the various Fort Lee Bridgeman Athletic Team streams and games. I want to thank everybody who makes these streams happen, especially Fort Lee Athletic Director Michael Raftery. Once again, the final score, Paterson, Kennedy 11, Fort Lee 10. I'm Tommy Aquilina saying thank you so much for joining us on this dreary Wednesday afternoon into evening, and we will see you next time and next season, folks. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night.